Let's start by talking a little about how popular fantasy football is today.
So fantasy football is insanely popular, especially in the U.S. There's 41 million people in the U.S. alone playing fantasy sports. 70% of them say that football's the number one thing that they do.
We're talking about the age demographic and how you're seeing that evolve.
Well, it's evolving rapidly. I mean, once upon a time, it was kind of a smaller niche group of people, kind of men, 20 to 30 years old. That demographic's totally changed. We're talking, men, women, all ages, 10-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 60-year-olds. I find it amazing with the tools that we're providing to the fans along with the NFL, the outreach that I get from people and just the unbelievable shift in demographic that we're seeing. It's everybody.
What role do you see video games like Madden, which educates a lot of younger people about football, playing and getting them involved in fantasy sports?
Well, Madden's huge. I mean, more than anything, what Madden has done is it's educated a whole generation on how critical data is to determining outcomes.
When it comes to SAP, you guys also are running the press row. Talk a little about what's going on behind the scenes here.
So SAP and the NFL are partnering together all over the place. We're thrilled and honored to be partnering with the NFL for our third year in a row as a Super Bowl sponsor #1. And we have the NFL Stats Zone, which is sponsored by SAP. We have an incredible range of applications where fans can engage directly with the NFL, do player comparison using our player comparison tool, and we just have a whole range of technology available for the fans to make their experience here unbelievable. Also, we're participating in sponsoring the NFL honors for the Fantasy Football Player of the Year. So you can actually go to the NFL Stats Zone and actually vote for your Player of the Year there.
How have you seen interest in stats evolve as people grow up more and more in tune with technology?
Well, the world that we live in today is a data-driven world. Everything is all about data. And if you look at football, I mean, the NFL is putting sensors in everything from player uniforms to the football itself. So as more and more data, not just what happened last year or last week in a game, but more data becomes available, people are leveraging that to have a better fan experience, one, but two, win more fantasy leagues. I think that's the second thing. So really, I think people are realizing that data drives the world that we live in, and it helps you win football games.
What role does that data play with your technology, the new stuff about the sensors?
Well, so SAP is always in talks with the NFL about how we can improve our relationship beyond things like the player comparison tool. So we're really excited about the data that's becoming available in things like sensors and in-game analysis. And actually, we've partnered with dozens of different sports leagues, like, for example, the German soccer team just winning the World Cup used SAP technology to figure out where to position their players on the field before the game even started based on all of that data. So we're starting to see this affect not just football, but every sport, and certainly we want to partner with the NFL on that.
Is there a role for the type of data you guys collect for video games?
Oh yeah. Well, being a big video game fan myself, and my 15-year-old son at home would be, cheering me on with this. I think absolutely. I see this convergence of the gaming world, the fantasy football world, and of course the physical world and the data that drives fantasy football and also models in games. All of that's going to come together. We're going to see unbelievable things in the next 2 to 3 years as all of these things converge.